we're finally seeing a contract that makes sense for me. And this is the landscape of gymnastics. And this is finally a contract that is the right amount for the level that gymnastics is. And Clemson is like all in. They are all in on gymnastics. So for comparison, the Clemson football coach has a $60 million buyout. $300,000 for recruiting is a drop in the bucket for these schools.
Remember, this show is PG-13, so you might hear a naughty word or two.
Norbert's is having a sale on rockers this month. All of them, they come in different colors. There's a turtle, there's a piece of fruit, there's all the designs you want. Go to norberts.com for 10% discount on anything with the code GymCastic. And it's trade show deal season, you guys. You can pre-order display booth item, and then you get a really good deal at one of the congresses. They're going to be at GAT, they're going to be at Region 1 and 5, plus at Congress. Also, Norbert's is giving away a $50 Norbert's gift card that can be used in anything in their online store. You guys, it's summer's coming up, graduation season. Who doesn't want something like your own beam for graduation, honestly? So
That's
just follow Norbert's Athletic.
Present, actually.
Right. Just follow Norbert's Athletic on Instagram and comment on the giveaway post. Good luck. Today, we have an update on the possible mixed team format for LA 28. More information on that for you guys. We have 2 mini commissions, one on Ellie Black, the wonderful, genius, amazing Ellie Black, and the power of athletes to fight against laws moving civil rights backwards in the United States. That's our other mini commission. We're going to talk about the Varna World Cup, where everyone has learned how to do a perfect double pike, by the way. And then we have some level 10 nationals highlights. That's the highest level in the US before you become elite. And there's major coaching news in NCAA. Plus, we have a special feature composed by Daniel, a researcher, about which coaches made the most money on NCAA season. So it is May 12th, 2025, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. Number 1, correction.
You always start with, hi, I made a mistake.
We always point out our corrections. Frederick Richard, he did not actually break the original time record for the backflip record. So the original, or the most recent record, was Nico Scherer in Austria. He did 1,001 backflips in 2019 in 9 hours. Frederick did it in 15 hours, and then he went on to use more time to do more, but broke the entire record. But you have 24 hours. So I just wanted to point out that he did break the record he did it in like 15 hours.
Within the 24-hour period.
Within the 24-hour period. So I wonder if Nico will now go back, because Nico did it in 9 hours. So I wonder if Nico's going to go back and be like, oh, well, I'll just do this money now in 9.5 hours and break it again. So the time record still stands.
Always trying to find a rivalry. Let's go.
People love this.
It's called marketing. It's called marketing.
Right. Like sports. This is a thing that people like in sports. I don't know if you've heard. This is something
I've never heard of sports.
Right. I know. It's not like you're a season pass holder to a ball sport. So you guys don't let Spencer fool you with his criticism. It's a women's team, you guys, obviously. Please. Okay. The big news, we talked about how the Clemson job is open. Clemson is a program that's only 2 or 3 years old. They had a Team Zero where they just worked on the program when Amy Smith went there, and they didn't even compete. They just created the culture, all of that stuff, all the amazing leotards. So controversial, but brilliant because people are always talking about them. Amy was fired, and now Clemson basically got new head coaches in a week. Is that how long it was? Barely a week?
I mean, yeah. If you if you subscribe to Behind the Scenes, you will not be shocked by this development, is what we're saying. Because we might have hinted about this when we got back from NCAA. So it was in the mix. It was in the works.
So Liz and Justin,
the Crandall-Howells.
The Crandall-Howells.
We're calling them. Based on Corey Tomlinson's introduction of them in the PA at NCAA Nationals, I think we are officially just calling them the Crandall-Howells. Just the Crandalls I'm fine with. Justin and Elizabeth Crandall.
I like that too. I think Justin would be fine with that. He's very proud. Just like at the fashion thing at the Met, when they wear the outfits, they interviewed Simone's husband and they said Simone Biles' husband said blah blah blah, which is the correct way.
That is his correct title. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So the Crandall-Howells are the new head coaches of the Clemson Tigers. I believe they're Tigers. They were at Cal for 13 seasons. They took Cal from basically the toilet to a number 2 team in the country.
That is the official classification. They were ranked toilet.
They had such great gymnasts and they did nothing with those. I mean, the coaches before just did nothing with those great gymnasts. And so they're skyrocketed. So they have identical 5-year coaching contracts. The starting salary, how much do you think? So identical, this is...
Yeah, I mean,
2.
I do know the answer to this question, so it's not really like a fun guess.
Oh,
You
Spencer,
want me to pretend?
You ruined... Yes.
I'm ruining but actually I do already know that it's the total salary of $225,000 a piece for the 2025-2026 season.
The total is $2.25 million base salary. That's the base salary over 5 years. So that's for the both of them combined. That's minus incentives. So there's still incentives. So Amy Smith was making $170,000 base salary before bonuses. So, and here's the other thing. Some people thought that they would never leave Cal because essentially they had a buyout that was over $1 million from Cal. So it was $450,000 minus the liquidation of contracts, $225,000 damages for finding a new coach each. So that has been paid in order to get them. Does this surprise you at all that they're being paid so much?
I mean, this is like, I would not characterize this as so much in the world of college athletic coaching, first of all. It feels so much. But, also, if you've lived in Berkeley, you're like, that is I can buy a carrot now.
That's the minimum you need to leave in the Bay Area.
That's what it costs to buy a carrot. Yeah. But no, this does not surprise me because I knew it was going to happen. But I didn't know it was going to happen, but I knew there was interest. But, I think that ultimately my feelings about the Cal program last year or so have been that I think that the things that Cal needs in order to make the next step and become an Oklahoma, LSU, Florida team that's consistently, I mean, they've placed second before, but a team that's consistently like right up there in the final, winning championships, contending for championships, are things that are outside the control of a head coach. They need a new training facility. That's never going to happen. They need to be NIL competitive, and they're not. So I understand why Justin and Liz would feel like they have taken Cal as far as they can take it. And that you would want a challenge at a school like Clemson that has all the resources you would need to become an Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, Utah. And it's all about, can the head coaches bring it there, which is a lot of pressure and a big challenge. But I think, if you're a top coach, that's what you want. You want that challenge and you want that different experience. But now you have everything you need in order to consistently win a national championship. And you just need the time to, recruit and bring a team there. But I certainly would see the appeal. And as we talked about on Behind the Scenes, you're kind of worried about whether Cal's still going to have a gymnastics team.
Mm-hmm.
In the future, changing landscape of NCAA gymnastics and college sports and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like I'm really happy for them. I'm very happy for Clemson. I'm happy for the state of South Carolina because they are going to get a great injection of important morals into the politics of the state.
I mean, they are gymnastics coaches. They're not like, the governor. They didn't get hired as the governor of South Carolina. But
still important. Also, I just this is the thing. I think we're finally seeing a contract that makes sense for me. And this is the landscape of gymnastics. And this is finally a contract that is the right amount for the level that gymnastics is. Does that make sense? I want to make a comparison. Greg Marsden did a post last week where he was talking about, he talked to a bunch of coaches about, what's it really like out there right now? What's recruiting like? How much are you guys spending? And he said that he was just, of course, nobody wanted to tell him because they didn't want to share the information. And he's like, I'm 70, I'm not in the game anymore. But that they were spending upwards of $300,000 just on recruiting. And I was like, oh, that's kind of low. I thought they would be spending more. But he seemed to be like horrified. Like, what is the world coming to for spending $300,000 on recruiting? And I'm like, $300,000 in a lot of places is like the minimum you need to like have a base middle class life in the United States now. That's how expensive it is. So $300,000 for recruiting when you're traveling constantly is actually not that much. And I was like, what do you think the basketballs and footballs of the major schools who are paying multi-million-dollar contracts to their coaches, how much do you think they spend on recruiting? Why are you thinking so small? Until gymnastics has the same level of coaching contracts that those sports do, then we're not where I want gymnastics to be, and you should not be satisfied. And I was talking to Fact Checker about this morning because I was like, this finally we're getting a reasonable contract, and they're getting like 2.25 million base salary over 5 years, 4 years, whatever. That's exactly what it should be. This is like the minimum. And I was like, this is the problem with all these coaches from the Greg Marsden generation, who I'm so grateful to, and they put gymnastics on the map and all of that stuff. All of them who weren't getting paid the maximum they could get paid hurt the entire gymnastics landscape. And it's just now being corrected, because if you are not being asked to be paid what you're worth, you're devaluing the entire program, and it hurts all the other coaches, and it makes gymnastics seem like a throwaway sport instead of a sport you need to be competitive. And Clemson is like all in. They are all in on gymnastics. So for comparison, the Clemson football coach has a $60 million buyout. $300,000 for recruiting is a fucking drop in the bucket for these schools. Greg Marsden, wake up. Like,
well, poor Greg. He's getting the business today, which I did not have on my bingo card.
Also, I'm very grateful for him, and I love that he shares his thoughts. And I think this was like, you have to think bigger. All these coaches need to think bigger. And if you're just satisfied with just coaching, you're not doing your job. That's what I'm saying. And if you are, be an assistant coach. That's fine. It's okay if that's what your mindset is, but you don't belong at the top of one of these programs, is what I'm saying. Because you don't expect that from your gymnasts. So why would you expect it of yourself to be able to just show up and that's all you do? Come on. So anyway, and I'm not putting Greg Marsden into that category because obviously he built like a legacy program and all of that stuff and like won 1 million times. So but yeah, think bigger. So anyway, I'm happy with this decision. I think it was the obvious choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were, as we said, if they were interested, they were the best option, the most accomplished option that you could get if you were Clemson. So yeah, I think, if you're Clemson, this is your best possible choice.
Yep. So who should get the Cal job now?
Oh, because this just happened. I haven't had time to think about it. But I think that it is a great opportunity for an up-and-coming coach. Like we were talking about, accomplished coaches like Justin and Liz have kind of taken Cal as far as they can go. So if you're an up-and-comer, I think it's a great opportunity with a super talented team. Theoretically, who knows who might go to Clemson? Like Amy Smith took an entire team with her to Clemson, so who knows who might, what people will do. But a super talented team, you still have the enticing appeal of like, you can get a degree at UC Berkeley, which is still an appeal. I mean, maybe less than it should be, because people are more like, what's my NIL situation? But it's still a recruiting appeal. So yeah, I think, all right, you want me to throw out a name is what I can see. You're like nodding, like you're stalling, which is correct. I was stalling. Nicole Curler, assistant coach at Michigan State. I'm throwing out a name. That's where I'm going. Or what, Nicole Jones now. Sorry. I can't keep up with people.
People get married, change their names. That's their fault. We can't be keeping up with that nonsense.
Also, Seth, who was at Twin City Twisters, the assistant coach at Cal, maybe he's interested in transition to head coach, but his brand kind of, was in club. So just options to keep in mind. But I threw out a name. You have to throw out a name. Go.
I mean, I was thinking Laurent and Cecile might.
Cecile's just at Georgia.
So it's coaching. You move all the time. She seems very happy, and it seems really good there. And they're paying her a lot. Like she has also she had a fine salary, $300,000. Like that's which you guys might think that that's crazy. Most people don't make over. People are. I know. Let me tell you, having been a person that was like, oh, I have $20 to make it through the entire week. I get it, and that's the thing. But you can't get out of that situation if you don't want more for yourself and think bigger and try and use all the tools to get out of that situation. And so I'm like, yeah, that's. So I don't know if they could coach together though. I don't know if Laurent wants to coach.
You don't know if Laurent and Cecile could coach together? Haven't
no
done that for their
no
entire...
if he wants to coach college, because I can see him being like, why would I coach not highest level when I want to coach highest level? So I don't know. I wonder if Amy Borman would want to do college. She was kind of looking in the mix for a while, but the other.
But now she's in Germany. She's Germanying.
She is Germany, but it's all.
I feel like a lot of these schools, you missed your Amy Borman chance. You had the chance and you blew it.
There's a bunch of Oklahoma gymnasts who have just spread out all over and have been assistant coaching, and I wonder if one of them, the Oklahoma diaspora, exactly. If they would be interesting. Before we talk about meet news and the Varna Challenge Cup, we have a couple of updates for you. So first of all, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, because now we have video, please subscribe, because only a tiny portion of you guys subscribe to our YouTube. So, and please, wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you're subscribing and set it to automatically download handy for no Wi-Fi situations when you travel. Also, live replay show still available. You want to know what happened at the Paris floor finals? There is discussion. You want to know, want to ruin your feelings about all of your heroes from your childhood? Your stories about them and how they treated people. That is all in the live show replay. Also, the choreography contest was the greatest hit of any contest we've ever had. And yeah, choreographers versus the audience, you guys. It was super fun. Also, fantasy autosave is coming for elite season. And there's a sharing lineups button also coming. Don't forget to get your balance of the copy. Your copy of The Balance. My Year's Coaching Simone Biles by Amy Borman and Fact Checker. Thank you to everybody. And it is coming out in Europe this week, I think. And Spencer got his copy. And there will be, I think, a signing coming up in Europe. We'll give you the details when we have it. Amy reads the audiobook. So something to look forward to. Okay. Meet news, the Varna Challenge Cup.
I watched it, Jessica. I watched all 8 hours of this competition. I think me and Ollie Hogbin are the only people who did. But we watched all of it, and we bonded, and we had some good times. I got to hear Ollie vamp for 17 minutes about ancient Hungarian or ancient Bulgarian gold hoards, because that's the kind of information you get.
Love it.
He got in a Eurovision mention because it's Eurovision week, Jessica. That's most important. I'm worried about next weekend, Ollie's Challenge Cup and Eurovision duties. Is he going to be able to follow it? I'm really worried about this.
He could probably do both at the same time.
He could, but these are the things I get concerned about. You're invited, by the way. Standing invite for Eurovision. But I know it's, a pain to get up here. But
it's, far
no
away,
obligation, but you are invited.
Thank you. I felt like this was the double pike championships.
Sure.
I was like, when did all of the elite people that compete at the World Cups, that's what World Cups are, they're elite gymnasts competing, their double pikes are so good, everybody. I was like, I'm so happy right now. Nola double pike, one floor. Jennifer Williams of Sweden, who's going to Stanford later, double pike, the form, so gorgeous. She only got bronze. I was like, What do we need
Well,
to
she
fix?
did have a miss. She
Oh,
didn't go
yeah.
out of bounds.
That's-
Like,
Oh, she
you know,
did like
I think
land out of that. Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
think the
true.
reward was you can. We love you so much, and your routine is so good. You can still medal even while getting like, what'd she get 4/10 and out of bounds? I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was the floor could not hold her because her tumbling was so good. I can't wait to see her at Stanford. She's be so great.
And her
Let's
double
talk
Arabian position is very nice. That
all
was a
of her
joy.
forms.
The floor was really satisfying. Like I
Yeah.
don't, you know, oftentimes we are annoyed by floor because we have such high expectations based on our past. But I was like, I am mostly charmed by this women's floor final, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And I feel like the point of the Challenge Cups is to find. It's different from the Apparatus World Cups, but like, who cares about the difference? But now we're in the Challenge Cup series, is to find gymnasts to become fans of that you had not seen before, maybe from smaller programs or countries that we don't see a lot. So my pick is Anteja Sikic-Kaukic of Croatia, who led off the floor final. Super charming floor routine.
So
There were
charming.
kicks. We were on our highest toe. We were showing how to do footwork into a real tour jeté. Like an action, people always call like split leap half a tour jeté, and I'm like, that's not what a tour jeté is. Talk to a ballerina. But it was like a real tour jeté.
A real tour jeté, you land on your front foot. You split and land on one foot. That's a real tour jeté. Yeah, it was gorgeous. Her routine was gorgeous. And also, speed of the choreography matched the musicality. Like, that is musicality. When the music goes to the dance, that's the musicality. But
her musicality had musicality. That's the important thing to know.
It wasn't like super loud and she was standing in the corner raising an arm, Russia.
Right.
But it wasn't background music. It was intentional. Like, this is what I keep trying to post stuff in our like Instagram when I'm like, this is musicality. This is not. Like, this is the example of. Also, when she fell out of bounds and then backward rolled into dance, this is what we're talking about. Commitment.
I will say one of our lessons overall from the Varna Challenge Cup was that people who are good at artistry also understand how to fall in the most entertaining ways. Like, it's an equivalent skill set. Like, Nola had a great event because she won 2 gold medals on bars and floor, also fell on beam. And I was reminded that Nola's falls are always the best. They're always funny. They're always silly looking. And I'm like, artists understand how to fall in entertaining ways. And Thelma Athelsteinsdottir, who also had entertaining falls on both beam and floor, and is one of our favorite floor artists, who will talk about her floor routine, because I'm very interested in this floor routine that we saw from her in Varna, also knows how to fall in entertaining ways.
We are watching the Thelma Athelsteinsdottir, who the use of face and mouth in this routine
the most
is what I want to give her an award for. Involvement of the face award. She absolutely was like, everything had a scream, a catch my scream and throw it at you, a exclamation of, but without being a fly catcher, which is the problem with a lot of floor. I feel like people think that artistry is actually I look surprised.
I am so happy my mouth is wide open. It's an NCAA problem. Yeah.
Coquettish surprise. We are done with that. That's canceled.
This was not a coquettish routine. My theory about the theme of this routine, which I don't know what the theme is, I think she's portraying a lioness who is in a zoo and has a dream about what life would be like if she were not incarcerated. And so she lives out the day of this dream, and then at the end realizes that it was merely a fantasy and she is still imprisoned in a zoo at the end. And that's the facial expression we saw at the end. This is what I think the theme of this routine is. That's what I got from her performance.
I do love the end of her performance when she does head spring, one of my favorite things. Either direction doesn't matter. Head spring to one knee, scream, distribute the scream. And obviously that makes sense. And it's such a good theme for, this is also my recurring dream that I'm having living in the US right now. Tell me about Marcus Casamento.
Oh, that we got to see him do floor, and it's my favorite thing. Talk about
Why?
artistry in men's floor, showing that it can be done. It's just such a delightful routine. If you are a fan of women's gymnastics and less interested in men's gymnastics because it doesn't always carry through the artistry that you are looking for, Marcus Casamento is your favorite gymnast because he brings performance and elegance and execution to men's floor, and I was very excited to see him get on the podium with the Penevs, a delightful. We got 2 Penevs and a Casamento on the floor podium. It was a delightful podium. Very happy for Eddie Penev, gold on floor, bronze on vault. Very successful World Cup competition for him. It was a really good floor final, really enjoyable. And there was also a moment where Adair, because we have the balances and there's a wide variety. Casamento showed everyone how to do it, but Adair kind of
This is where the men have to basically do a scale now.
Yeah, Adair tried to do his, and the replay of it, and it was like, it was a I don't want to do this balance scale. Like, I'm gonna kind of fall out of it. But the replay in the background, we see Steve Butcher stand up, and I'm sure it was unrelated, but it does look like he is standing up out of outrage, like he is in Parliament in the 1700s, about to like throw a wig at the floor. So it was one of my opportunities for comedy highlights of the Varna Challenge Cup was the replay with Steve Butcher looking outraged in the background of this balance.
Are you doing GIFs of the week from this meet? Because there's so many opportunities.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sure.
All right.
I have a couple things on the list, but it'll be there.
Yeah.
Give me your opportunities. Tell me what I need to add to the list.
All the out of bounds falls to some kind of roller dance.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then obviously,
yeah, I should write it like too long didn't watch instead of too long didn't read. Do a too long didn't watch of the Varna Challenge Cup in case, because it was 8 hours long and most people didn't watch it or all of it. So I'll do that.
And then I think Jennifer Williams and Antia, just their leaps as like, you're welcome.
This is what you do. Yeah.
Yes. Level 10 nationals were this week. So this is the level before elite. And it's where we see all the people that are going to be, all the elites that have been like, I hate this. I'm going back to have fun.
And all the people who are going to be like, where was this ninja level 10 all of my life when they start their college careers at like Oklahoma or Kentucky's 2027 team nailed it this weekend.
Yeah. So one of the things that was so obvious, this is also when the NCAA coaches come all together and have their coaches conference. So they're there to watch, and they're also there to,
fight with each other.
fight with each other, threaten to sue the judges. So this is, I wanted to talk about one of the examples in this meet. There's so much great gymnastics and especially great vaulting. And I thought we saw 2 examples of why Jordan Childs' vault, the judges were wrong about her vault scores the entire season. So I just wanted to show one of these vaults where you can see an absolutely distinct rise with a straight body before the vault is done. So this is just a handspring front, but gorgeous handspring front, by the way. Huge, stuck, amazing. But this is the thing, like the way the judges were evaluating Jordan Childs, Yurchenko half on, she was tucked on the table the whole time. She's an amazing vaulter, but there was a deduction and the judges weren't taking it. And I was like, see, at level 10 nationals, you can see how much better these vaults are, why these should have scored better. The other one that I wanted to show here is another example of that I just love, because someone freeze framed right when there is the amplitude off of the table, which is a absolute straight body flying up, hips open, legs straight position on top over the vault table. And then even when the pike front starts, still 5 feet above the table in a perfect pike. Like, this is how it's supposed to be done without a deduction in the pre-flight. And this is why judging needs to be judged the way it's supposed to be judged for the judging, and the judges need to be
for the judging needs to be the judging.
Yes.
That is the perfect summation.
And there are, of course, judges doing a great job. But then we also pointed out many of the problems that we saw in NCAA. So I hope that the decision was made at the conference that, we're going in the right direction and we really do need to fix the judging instead of, let's blow it all up again and just, have absolutely no oversight. So I was thinking about a choreography because we were watching the Varna World Cup and the choreography. It's so stepping up. And I was thinking about choreographers and how it must be extremely difficult for them to spend these very, very long days trying to get emotion out of so many gymnasts. Like the Varna World Cup, I'm like, it looks so natural, or at least like it wasn't that hard to get them to do these things. But then I think of other gymnasts and I'm like, maybe it was really hard. And then I think about how long the days are. I compare it to my long days. And then I think about being hangry, which is often a problem for me. So then I think about Huel, Black Edition specifically. It's Huel, like fuel, Huel.
New customers can visit huel.com/gymcastic today and use the code GYMCASTIC, GYMCASTIC, to get 15% off your first order plus a free gift.
The thing I like about this is it's a complete meal. So you know how I'm always going on about protein, Spencer. It's like the thing. And now that I had like a rage chancla throwing incident, that I have injured my shoulder and I'm like, I wasn't working out enough. I wasn't getting my protein every day. So as someone who was a vegetarian for 12 years and really doesn't like meat, I love that I can get all my complete protein in the Huel Black Edition. Especially I get all my, vitamins and minerals.
That's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Vitamins and minerals. And they have lots of flavors because you know how picky I am and I don't like my food to touch, but they have iced coffee flavor. They have chocolate vanilla. So and I am very proud, as I always tell you, about how my bone density is literally off the charts. I know Spencer can't stand it. One of these days on behind the scenes, I'm going to show my DEXA scan, by the way, just to show you guys, because I'm very proud of this. Anyway, it's a win-win. So if you guys want to try it, Spencer will tell you how.
New customers visit huel.com/gymcastic today and use the code GYMCASTIC to get 15% off your first order plus a free gift.
We talked last week about the format for the mixed team format at the LA Olympics, that the talk is that they're going to use the European mixed team format. And we went over how that's going to work. And I lamented the fact, which is basically it's going to be men will do floor, P-bars, high bar. Women will compete vault, beam, and floor. And I lamented
and
how
by
this
women and men, you mean woman and man, because there's one of each on each team.
Yes, a team of two. It's basically the Swiss money mixed pairs.
Yeah.
Thing. But a couple of updates. So my information from sources is that the events were chosen by which men's and women's event can fit in the arena at the same time and don't need the same piece of podium. Which logistics, so boring. Who cares about? Put it on something else. Make the whole thing a podium.
Make the whole thing a podium. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Require a bigger arena.
Yes. I mean, it's nonsense. This can be accommodated.
Yeah. That is an interesting question. Is it you can't, or is it just because they don't? Like, this is how it's always been done, the organization of the arena. Or does it have to be that way?
I mean, a podium can be made to accommodate whatever. I mean, that's the thing. That's the podium's what they use for concerts. Like, you don't think that they're requiring, like, Beyonce to use the same thing that...
To use the pommel horse?
Whatever.
Her routine would be amazing, Jessica.
Not Beyonce is using
Beyonce Metarasic is going to win the pommel horse gold. Yeah.
So basically, like, bars and high bars share the same podium spot. So that's why we can't possibly have them at the same time. We'll just put them on a podium next to each other, make another podium. Like, I totally reject this. completely. Beam is on the same podium that like rings and pommel horse are on. So then they can't use that. Well, nobody wants to watch pommel horse and rings. So don't have those. Obviously, they should just be for beam. But yeah, and it's like, and the other, and some people were saying, well, in vault, they don't want to have men's and women's vault because they don't want any, they don't want to change the vault height. Well, then have the women all go and then they rotate and the men all go and you change it in the middle when no one's looking. But it's like, oh, they never want to have an Olympics where the vault height is changed. Like, surprise, they change it right now on event finals day. Like anyway, I do not think these are a problem. And again, this is a situation where I feel like people are, well, obviously the FIG is doing this because they're like, we don't want this. F this whole mixed pairs thing. We tried to avoid it. They would have been prepared if they had elected the European Union president instead of re-electing Watanabe. But because they're so far ahead than the FIG and everything, I think, how they're running things. But I'm sure they have their own problems. But yeah, let's just let women raise the fucking vault. And then we won't have this problem. Let people adjust the vault where it should be. You're 5'6" and you're supposed to vault on the same thing that a 4 foot tall person is using. It's ridiculous. Anywho, you guys. Oh, the other thing is that I was talking to another source about my feelings that the coaches are going to hate this and they're going to like try to have someone. You're always going to be using the alternates for these spots, even though they're nominative, so you can't use the alternates, but they're going to want it to be the very last event because no one's going to want to add this in the middle. And they're like, oh no, they're 100% going to put the mixed team final event in the middle of the competition so that no one can say they're hurt. Because if you say you're hurt,
then you're hurt.
You're out. Yeah. You can't compete in event finals. So that this is 100% going to be put in the middle. Or it'll be the day before event finals or something like that. I mean, you can't have the 24-hour flu, but you could. I mean, what is there any besides if you have the twisty situation, you need medication to come back. If it's an actual injury, not an illness, or I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, you mentioned, Simone was able to withdraw from the all-around final and then come back for the beam final.
Yeah, because it was something that was an illness that required medication.
But if you're saying all you have to do is say, like, oh, I have a reason I can't compete, like, you can fudge that as needed. I'm not saying anyone would. I'm saying the opportunity exists.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it has been done many, many times.
You can figure it out.
So, yeah. Let's discuss coaches' salaries.
Oh, my favorite topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get to Gymternet news, I want to go back to this. We talked about it a little bit already, but Daniel put together this great article that we have out this week, which is looking at which coaches are cashing in, essentially.
Mm.
So which coaches earned the most or had the opportunity to earn the most if their team won the NCAA championship. So this was looking back at what the bonuses per the contracts that we were able to get a hold of. So this is not all the contracts, but contracts that we could get a hold of. So Tim Garrison of Kentucky would have gotten a $35,000 bonus if they had won.
Oh, for winning. Okay.
Yes, for winning. Heather Brink and Nebraska, $36,793.
Very specific.
Very specific number.
That must be
Ashley,
a percentage of something to come up with that number. That must be the percentage.
Ashley Priest, whose last name is now Johnson for some reason, Johnston, at Alabama, $37,500. Now, that is a team that has won many times, but they've never broken the curse. Jay Clark, only $40K bonus for winning.
Jay, what are you doing? Slack it off.
I would have
But
expected
we talked
him
about
to-
his because you put it all in SEC regular season champions, SEC conference championship, national champion. It adds up. You get them
Yep.
up.
You add all the baby ones in, and then Amy Smith at Clemson would have gotten a $40,000 bonus.
Oh, that's out. Now.
Yep. She had a back-to-back regional appearances were a $5,000 bonus. Kim Landers, NC State, $40,000. Dana Durante at University of North Carolina, $50,000. There we go. Jeff Graba at Auburn, $50K. Jordan Weber, here we go. Negotiating the right way, $55,000 if they win. Yeah.
Is she the winner? Is she the top?
She is not the top.
Oh, who's okay? Wait.
Of the ones we could get a hold of.
Okay, because we haven't talked about KJ yet. We haven't talked about Jenny Rowland yet. We haven't talked about Janelle McDonald yet. It's not going to be Janelle.
No, those
it's not going to be UCLA. Yeah.
I was like,
these
whole
UCs,
staff.
you guys.
I was like, you guys need to negotiate better for your contract.
Yeah.
I told you should have negotiated.
Either going to be KJ or Jenny Rowland, whoever's contract you were able to get a hold of, is my guess for the top position.
Okay, I told all these. I remember when we told Janelle when she had the first bars national champion ever for Cal, and we were like $1 million and
when Janelle was an assistant coach at Cal. Yes,
at Cal. And did they learn anything from my instructions? No. So anyway, always have an attorney look at your contract. If you can't afford an attorney, they're not paying you enough. Okay, so what do you think the highest contract that we were able to get a hold of, the highest bonus?
Okay. I told you I don't like guessing unless I know, and it's really making me want to look, but I'm not looking. Okay, what did you say, Jordan? Jordan was second place.
55,000.
Okay. So we're going to have a 70,000. I'm going to say 7 with 4 zeros after it for KJ.
Jenny Rowland, Florida, 75,334.
Ooh, Jenny.
Good for Jenny.
How long are you going to keep that if you don't get it, though? If you keep not getting that $75,000.
I would scale this. I would have it at like, so if you're, then you're second, then 50. If you're third, then 25. If you're whatever. So if it happens, Rowland will earn a 30% bonus on her $251,000 salary, making her the coach with the highest NCAA championships victory bonus. Of course, this is what we could get a hold of. So we don't have.
Right. So we don't know what all.
We don't know every single one. Yeah. But that's what we have. So there you go, you guys. Think bigger. That's what I'm saying right there. We wouldn't have this podcast if I did not think bigger.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Lesson. You all suck and I'm great.
No, that's not
that's the moral I got. That's what I heard. Is that you're saying everyone sucks about me and I'm the best.
It's so interesting you hear it that way because
that is what I heard.
I feel like you as a man are hearing it that way, and me as a woman is like, women are always put down. They always get paid less. They are always told that they're not doing enough of this or that. The other thing, you're rude if you say you deserve more. And so I am constantly trying to make a point of being like, you can always do more. You deserve more. You ask for more, negotiate for more. Like, don't accept the basic of whatever is given. And so, yeah, different perspectives. That's all I'm trying to point out right there. Okay, so, and that counts for you too, Spencer, because if you had not thought about doing something that you loved and didn't hate being told what to do, you wouldn't have the balance beam situation, and you would still have to work somewhere where people told you what to do.
Can you imagine?
Oh, Spencer, no. The horror.
Horror.
Okay, Gymternet news.
Okay.
As reported,
lay it on me. Yeah.
As reported last week on GymCastic, Morgan Price announced her departure from Fisk to a yet unnamed team. But if you listened last week, we told you that we had a a strong feeling that she is going to Arkansas. But she didn't say that yet.
Speaking of Arkansas, we know moving and shaking with Arkansas because Dakota Essenpriest is transferring to Missouri, which is very interesting. She's been in the Arkansas vault lineup pretty consistently. Going to Missouri. So lots, this is the hot stove. Is that what the other sports call it? Hot stove season, where things like this are happening. Is it happening in gymnastics
I don't know.
now?
You follow those other sports, so you
think
can
that's
tell
a thing.
me.
I think that's a thing.
Yes.
What's happening now?
Also, were you at the game where the thing happened to this that like 20-year-old new player?
I sure was. Watch the whole thing.
Oh God.
I have strong opinions.
Oh, should we talk about that on the?
Well, we talk about it behind the scenes.
Okay, behind the scenes. So we're talking about a pro women's soccer game where someone may have had to have CPR during the game.
I mean, I visually saw chest compressions happening in front of my eyes, so I can confirm that happened.
Had CPR during a game and should awake and responsive and with her family now is okay. But yeah, let's talk about it on behind the scenes because I have a lot of questions and there's like no video. Whereas if it was men's, there would have been 1,000 videos of it happening. I was kind of shocked. So anyway,
I don't know what the TV, what did they show or did they like cut away? Oh, well, anyway, behind the scenes, we'll talk about it.
Behind the scenes, we'll discuss. So Friday at noon. So other things happening. After previously committing to Michigan, Ashley Sullivan, an elite, recently won one of the World Cup somethings. Really good tumbler, is going to UCLA.
Yeah.
So has switched.
It's so nice that the rumors that people were throwing about when we were at nationals are like becoming public now. I feel so much less sweaty because you know how I don't like having information. I don't want to know. I don't like it. I don't know whether I can say it. I'm worried I'm going to say it if I'm not allowed to say it. I don't like knowing. So I just, it makes me very sweaty. So I love it when people are like, let me announce that what's happening.
Hall of Fame news for the USOPC. Gabby Douglas was not already. This is the biggest news.
Gabby Douglas wasn't already
in the Hall of Fame. What were they doing?
Is there like you have to have been not competed for a certain number of years, but also she's not retired. So what's that about? What's
exactly?
There should be a certain level of accomplishment where you are automatically in the Hall of Fame, just like instantly.
Right. Which I feel like winning the Olympics is basically what she did. Like there might be other events, but who cares?
Being Gabby Douglas, that's just the rule. It just says being Gabby Douglas. That's what it is. And then like, are you Gabby Douglas enough to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no. That's the standard.
It's also one of the Venuses wasn't in there. The tennises.
The Venuses, you guys.
Well, which one got inducted?
You don't know. They weren't both already in?
See? No. See, that's the other thing.
And know their names are Venus and Serena.
Oh, sorry, Williams sisters.
I don't call them the Venuses.
I wanted to let you guys know before we get to our two mini commissions, one on Ellie Black and one on civil rights attacks and NCAA competitions and I'm going to add this competitions in general. And what athletes can do. I do want to tell you guys that this show every week is brought to you by Club Gym Nerd. You get extra podcasts every week delivered to your favorite podcast player. You don't have to log in or go behind anything. Like you can just add it to your favorite podcast player. A whole extra podcast. And this last week, we did an 1.5-hour show. We did extra on behind the scenes. So that's the weekly live Q&A podcast. We have exclusive daily podcasts from meets like the World Championships, Classic, the U.S. Championships, Olympic Games. Membership includes extended interviews. If you're a member right now, you can watch Vanessa Atler's live show, which I have now found and will be in the show notes for you guys to watch. Which normally live shows are private and they're never made public, but she wanted this to be available after the fact. So it is. You get first dibs on live show tickets, which we're having more of this year. Chicago, Friday before Classic, maybe at Championships in New Orleans. And then we'll see where the fourth one is going to be. And you can create your own mini segment, like a Rager-meter or Joy-o-meter, Enthusiasm-meter, or these mini-commissions like we have. So check out the Join the Club tab at gymcastic.com. And if you have any questions or need any help, our very hot, accomplished, and kind customer service agent is available. His name is Fact Checker at customer service at gymcastic.com. So thank you all for being so lovely to him when you send your emails. Ellie Black Mini-Commission from world champion level Club Gym Nerd member Claire K, who says,
I would like my mini-commission to be all about Ellie Black and how her gymnastics has evolved and what an incredible person and important figure in Canadian gymnastics she is. Perhaps you could also speak about her part in Canada's historic world bronze medal. I don't think you've covered this specifically in a mini-commission. I don't think so either.
Okay.
But, you know, first of all, her part in Canada's historic world bronze medal is it wouldn't have happened without Ellie Black.
Yeah.
She have their highest score in every event, like gymnastically and also conceptually, culturally, the influence. It wouldn't have happened without Ellie Black.
I just want to say, before we go into the specifics, we want to talk about some of her accolades. If you don't know who Ellie Black is, Canadian queen, then we will let you know of Nova Scotia.
I don't think you're listening to the show.
Right.
Maybe you're brand new and welcome. Ellie Black's great.
Everybody loves Ellie Black. Everyone loves Ellie Black. Like a universally loved person across the world, Ellie Black. Like she has the temperament of someone like, I'm like, you should go into the politics of one of these federations because you have the temperament.
That's the problem. She has the temperament, but is probably too sensible to do something, actually put herself through that.
Which is why we need more people like this to go into it, who are just like, don't want to rip their hair off and rip their hair off. Either way,
I think
whatever.
you could rip your hair off.
Yes. So, yeah, just beloved. And every time I think of Ellie Black, I think of the time that she did that front tuck at, was it Pack? I don't remember what meet it is. But anyway, she landed on half a foot on the side of the beam in a squat position, one leg off the beam, basically did a big toe pistol squat, stood up and finished the routine. And I was like, this is Ellie Black, everybody. You like Chelsea Memel standing on the bar doing the pistol squats? Wait until you see Ellie Black do it in the middle of a world championship or whatever it was. So strong, lifts all the weights, does all the extra things. Ellie Black. Okay, accolades. Where shall we begin?
Let's start. Oh, we should go through. So, Olympic Games, she's been to 4 of them. London, made the vault final, finished 8th. Rio, made the all-around final, finished 5th. Tokyo, 4th in the beam final. Paris, Canada was 5th in the team final, 6th in the all-around final, 6th in the vault final. So I think the lesson is extremely accomplished, and we also need to get Ellie some more medals.
Yep. Ellie Black is also an example. In Tokyo, she withdrew from the all-around final due to an injury because she had jacked her ankle up. And then they did all the stuff in between all-around finals and beam final, and she did beam final with basically half an ankle and a cast on her foot, and then did such a great routine for 4th, and then burst into tears. She was in pain and there was pressure, and she was like, can I do this? And Tokyo was already such a hard Olympics, and that was just you realize, because you never really see her. She has just a positive attitude about everything in life, which is another reason I feel like she's so good and should go into the politics of sports. But she just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed into her coach's arms after that routine was over. Just all the pressure coming out, and that is one of the enduring pictures in my mind about Ellie Black. World Championships.
Yeah, so she's been to 8 World Championships finals, placed as high as 2nd, silver medalist in the all-around in 2017. That was a close one. Remember 2017? So Regan Smith Withdrawals were like, who is going to win? And it was like Morgan Hurd and Ellie Black. We don't know what's going to happen. So that was Ellie's silver medal. 4th in 2019, 5th in 2022 are also some of her highest placements. 2017 Montreal was also when she won silver on beam. And then, of course, 2022, the Canadian team bronze medal at Liverpool Worlds. And she's also won the Canadian all-around champion 755 times.
Yeah.
These are factual stats. 755.
What do you remember about, you were there when that, at the 2022 Liverpool World Championships when they won their historic bronze medal. What stood out to you about that meet?
I think that I will say, gymnastics fans have a lot of strong opinions, a lot of things we want to happen and not have happen. And I think that stands out to me as something that it was just universally rooted for, like universally loved, universal joy that this happened to this team at this moment, because it just felt so like this was a ridiculous final and everyone was falling all over the place. But what the most satisfying possible result was seeing the Canadian team that had worked so hard, and like Ellie Black in particular, so typically so close to medals. Like how many times going through this list did we see like 4th place here, 5th place here, 6th place here? She's always very close to medals. She has some, and Montreal was a great Worlds for her in her home nation. But it was just so satisfying to see, like, yeah, Canada, bronze medal, let's go. Yeah. It's very exciting to root for then as that came down to the finish.
Yeah. It was like, just one of those really happy moments that everybody is pretty stoked for, and which we don't get a lot of those.
I will say,
usually it's like a controversy, they didn't deserve it, whatever, and I'm just like, well, the beam was wet the whole time and they survived.
So my I was going to say experiment. It was not an experiment, but going into this mini commission, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch Ellie's routines from London 2012 and Paris 2024 and do a compare and contrast essay in my mind and just see like kind of the evolution and what we're doing and some of the things that stood out. And I think some of the things that stood out that emphasize Ellie Black's gymnastics and her approach to gymnastics were a desire to continue to learn and evolve and change as a gymnast in a way that, I was going to say in a way that she really enjoys. I don't know. She maybe behind the scenes, she's like, this stupid code, I had to learn this damn new nonsense, maybe. But outwardly, she seems to still, she's had a very long career. She's still going strong. She seems to really enjoy the process of learning and improving and changing and adapting her gymnastics to the various standards of the era, the various codes of the era. Like, I was noticing that watching her most recent floors, like she is doing, very consciously involvement of the body parts, elongation of the movements. Like I need to add these things to my ability to perform that are now part of the artistry checklist. And it would be very easy for someone in Ellie's position to rest on her laurels, I guess, because like she's gonna make the Canadian team. Like she could stay how she was and not really change or evolve and make every Canadian team win Canadian all around, be a lauded gymnast, be very accomplished. But she is continuing to challenge herself and evolve and push the envelope. And I think about also the black on bars, her eponymous skill, which is a clear hip Tkachev piked with half turn, got named after herself pretty late in her career. I was thinking about this, but didn't actually do the go through the history, because it would be a long project of what age people were when they got skills named after themselves. Because I think it's pretty common. Even someone like Chuso, obviously a very long career, has a bunch of skills named after herself. Those came pretty early in her career. So to be a veteran and still learning, and also being like, okay, the big controversy about the Tkachevs with half turn is that people were doing it to Tkachev, catching in cross grip and then swinging through and allowing the cross grip to initiate the half turn after they've already caught the bar. And Ellie said, I'm going to do this and do it actually how you're supposed to, how they want you to do it, and do it right and get credit for it and initiate the half turn and show the integrity of the skill, and initiate the half turn before you catch and get credit for it. And that's another thing that stood out to me. It was like the intention to learn something new, be innovative and to do it the right way is also something that really, I think, stands out.
Integrity in everything she does. When people talk about integrity and we're like, yeah, it's like a coaching, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is one of the examples. Like, she is not just trying to get away with it to get credit.
Yeah.
She actually learned it a different way. And got that in her late 20s named. She's also hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, what are some of your favorite examples of Ellie Black being hilarious?
Well, she did her Stick It tribute. That was very important. We are watching this Steven Edderosik performance.
Where she
right
dressed
now,
up
if
as
you were
Steven
watching
Edderosik
along
for
with us.
Halloween on tour.
It's
And
very important.
did some circles with glasses on and a whole men's outfit, which is, she mostly trains with men at her gym. I think it's like a men's gym and Ellie Black. So, she's got the whole arm pump thing down. She's very good at these imitations.
She knows how to do a U.S. men's gymnastics, is what you're saying? Yeah.
She does. The Buttahara is iconic.
Yeah.
This was at the there was like a fun gala thing, professional gymnastics meet, but it was just like show gymnastics for fun. And Simone was a judge, and she basically recreated the Stick It moment on vault and just jumped on the vault and did the devil horns, and it was iconic forever.
Mm-hmm.
That
Very
is
important.
she just recreated the movie. She also did men's floor with the man wipe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at some of the other reasons about like why she's so beloved is like, I remember at in Paris when the French team had a meltdown and they had that like horrible injury right before they went out that nobody knew about, and it was just a total meltdown. And we have episodes about that. But she came into the mix zone, and we just kind of talked to her. And after we were done, I was just like, "How are you?" Like there was a lot of people upset and things that had happened. And I just like, "How's Melanie? Have you talked to her?" Because they know each other from years of competing and also years of being on the tour together. And she was like, "Yeah, I just talked to her right before I came out here because she is just beside herself. She's so upset." So we were just talking about Melanie, and then that moment of her talking to Melanie actually got captured on camera. And it's one of the things that exemplifies like who Ellie Black is, that like she wasn't thinking about herself and how she did in her Olympics. She immediately went to someone in pain and was comforting them and was telling her like, "You are amazing. This does not define you." Like all the important things that athletes need to know when they have a shitty performance, which is what happened to Melanie. And so I think that's I love that she won the Fair Play Award for just being a decent human being to another person. That's an IOC award, and I'm always really happy that she did that. What do you think are some of the things in her career that led her to being who she is? Like, are there things that you?
I don't think we can know the answer to that. I think that's things that happen in your life. I don't know.
I'm waiting for her tell-all book because she never she is not a person that tells you all the ins and outs. Like she will tell you her feelings and very like specifics, but she's a discreet athlete, I think. But I feel like being from Nova Scotia, very important. I always have to point that out.
Yeah. Okay. What Scotias do you see in her?
It's very cold and very beautiful. It is rough. It's not an easy life in Nova Scotia. It's like the where's the top of Russia where they send people when they're mad at them?
I mean, are you describing Siberia?
Siberia. It's the
I would
Siberia
describe
of
just
Canada.
more like the east, but yeah.
And the Canadians are going to be like, "No, the actual top of Canada, that's basically at the top of the planet, is the Siberia of Canada." But yeah, it's but I also think she just had like a very different gymnastics upbringing because again, like she's in like a gym that's mostly like a boys' gym, mostly works out with guys, and she's had a different path than a lot of people because I think she's also just the way she trains, like before it was de rigueur to be doing weight training and doing serious, like they don't call it plyometrics anymore, but dynamic weightlifting functionally. She was doing that and always doing like the outside things to make herself better and more durable in the gym. And yeah, I think part of, and I just think, I don't know, it would be interesting to know. I would love to talk to her parents and be like, and her brother and be like, so what is a story that happened like when she was a little kid that you were like, oh, this is a kid who just lets things slide off her back? Like, has she ever gotten really mad about anything? Or was she just like, what can I learn from this situation and make myself better? Because she really is like, yeah, she's just a special person, I think. And it's always a joy to talk to her and in the mix zones, watch her gymnastics, and just a positive influence. I hope she becomes an athlete rep of some kind when her career is over, even though some people do it at the same time. But yeah. Okay. Anything else about Ellie Black?
I think I'm good. I think we've waxed rhapsodic about Ellie sufficiently.
Yes. Okay. If you want a mini commission like our Club Gym Nerd member Claire just had, you can go to Club Gym Nerd at gymcastic.com and join at the world champion level. And we've had requests from people that want to do another, they're already at this level, or some people have subscribed at the highest level because they were like, I just want to support you guys and support Spencer. So we're like subscribing. So now people are like, well, I'm already doing that, but I want more mini commissions. So how do I do it? So we're looking for a way to give you guys an option to just buy mini commissions if you already are this level of subscriber. So stay tuned for that. This is the get in there and work on how everything works and make GymCastic smoother for you guys portion of the year. So next mini commission, civil rights attacks and NCAA meets mini commission from world champion level Club Gym Nerd member, Gymnastics fan, who says,
we're experiencing the spread of laws in the US that promote sexism, homophobia, transphobia, etc., in addition to a lack of accountability for those who promote racism, violence, etc. What is the likelihood that if an NCAA team refused to travel somewhere, the championship might move? Could the athletes unionize as a team, or does it have to be an entire school's athletes? I know not all athletes have the same core beliefs, so that would create more challenges, but could the progressive athletes create change?
So, Gymnastics fan, we recorded an entire segment on this, and I've decided I don't like it. And it's not, I think, exactly what you asked for. So, I'm using my powers as editor to change this, and we're going to come back better and stronger with many, many ideas. And if any of you want to send your feedback and you have ideas for the ways that this has worked in the past, or ideas for dramatic things that'll make the news that could work for next season, or this can apply anywhere, not just in NCAA gymnastics, let us know for next week. Our email is gymcastic@gmail.com, or of course you can always post in the forum at gymcastic.com. So stay tuned. We're redoing this next week. Oh, 2 pieces of feedback I wanted to get to. If you have feedback for us, gymcastic@gmail.com or at the forum at gymcastic.com. Please pronounce Kovac correctly, or Jen will die of embarrassment for us. It is Kovac, but we're so used to saying Kovacs because,
Speak for yourself.
Kovac, I know. I am so used to saying it that way. Also, last week we had a discussion about coaching changes, and we had a reminder that JC Phelps, we had that mini commission member about people that how they did when they changed.
Mhm.
I totally forgot that JC Phelps, it was Scott Bregman, of course, brought this up, went to MLT and had a huge improvement, made the Olympic team Olympic champion. I totally forgot she went somewhere else.
That's a good example as well.
This weekend, Chinese championships are happening, you guys.
Whoa. Most wonderful time of the year.
I'm so excited. We'll be talking about that next week. I cannot
also
wait.
Another Challenge Cup, Koper, Slovenia.
Oh, that's right. We have that World Cup. Okay, guys. So we will see you on Friday for Behind the Scenes at noon Pacific, 7 p.m. GMT. And until then, please remember to take off on gay, split on rights. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you Friday at noon for Behind the Scenes.